Hello, Peter.
Yeah, this is what I've been talking about for a while. I finally got down to it and said, I'm going to do this. So let me show you real quickly the setup.
Okay, let's see it.
Everything is plugged in to the machine. I don't have nothing plugged in the wall. Natural gas comes into that valve down here.
Mm-hmm.
Low pressure valve. And there's me. Then I reduce the valve, make the generator start for gas, and then I fire up the HHO machines. One of them, this one on the left, has HHO and gasoline. And the second side, it has gasoline. This one on the second side has hexane. And that goes to the bubblers. And everything is plugged in.
So the gasoline is as a fuel source or in the bubbler?
It's in the bubbler. Goes to the bubbler, and it does not bubble. It goes only across the surface. But all these valves are shut off. So it just crosses the surface of the container inside. There's no bubbling
So it's
going
just picking
on.
up the vapor across the top of it.
Correct. Because I know a few times with my brother's small generator, we kind of got it a little bit too rich and it slowed down. So it runs good and lean out with the HHO. Then I've got my 240 cable, one the vacuum plugs in, one the other machine plugs in. Each machine uses 1800 watts each machine. And then I plug in a...
And that's coming from the generator.
Everything is being running from the generator.
Okay.
And I turn on the vacuum to pull load, so you got 12 amps right here. That pulls the load. That pulls these two pull load. And then if I get my hot glue gun, I mean not hot glue gun, my hot gun, it pulls 1500 watts by itself, and I've done that.
Okay.
So what I'll do, I'll start it up. Try to get over a code. I go from one code to another code. Hang on. Open the garage door a little bit for ventilation. And let me open this one back here. Hang on. Looks like it's starting to rain out there. All right. As you can see, it's turned on. And you can see underneath, this is my hose that goes to the carburetor. So I'm running it through the carburetor. There's nothing in that carburetor at all. It's been empty for a couple years. So watch, I turn it, and it will not start up because you can see the switch is on. Turn the gas on.
Now what's that?
Speed up.
A little bit.
Now, one machine, say the vacuum. This valve is a quarter turn shut-off valve. Quarter turn. Let's try to turn it down a little bit more. You're going to suck the gas out of the line. What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure what to think because I see input energy source being the natural gas.
Yeah, but it's reduced flow. I can actually reduce the flow of the natural gas instead of being wide open. I turned it halfway off. It's a quarter turn. Look at this is all I got to turn it. Look at fully open, fully closed.
Right.
And I had it just like that, halfway or more. I don't know exactly where it was. I got to put exactly a mark how much in millimeters the travel is.
Are you saying that normally that 7 kilowatt system requires it to be on full?
Yep.
Of course, you weren't pulling a full 7 kilowatts from that.
Well, each one of these are using 1,800 watts each.
Uh-huh.
And it was keeping up on the amp gauge.
So that's almost 4 kilowatts.
And then the vacuum cleaner is 21 amps. And then I ran a heat gun over here earlier. I ran this heat gun.
Mm-hmm.
So this was running too. 1,500 watts here. On half of the natural gas.
So what are you attributing this to? Are you also ducting the HHO into the primary generator? That's what that white tube was?
Yeah, that white tube is from it's from both of the machines, and it's going into the carburetor feed. So it's going through all the flaps, the throttle body flap, the choke flap, and it's being fed through the empty carburetor. Since the bowl is empty of gas, it allows the gas to go through the bowl, pass through the float mechanism, and pass up through the chambers and a delivery system in the carburetor delivery, using that as a delivery.
So you're basically showing that a genset run on natural gas assisted with HHO is doing quite well.
Correct. Everything's vapor form. There's no converting from, well, there is gasoline in this one machine over here. The one on the left has gasoline bulb water, and the one on this one has hexane.
Yeah, aren't those also considered a fuel source?
Yeah, that's a fuel source. But the next time I do it, I'm going to drain both of them out and add water to it. And I'm going to add one machine at a time and then add two machines.
Mm-hmm.
So it does help. And through a bubbler system, it goes a long time because it's actually taken off the surface. It's just picking up some of the fumes passing across the chamber.
From a classical point of view, it seems like you're just running off of traditional fuel sources and there's nothing necessarily unusual going on here.
Well, if I run one of these machines and I plug in my action cord to the house, I can power my house on the reduced gas flow by using one of these machines to supplement some of the natural gas coming from the city.
So this is a way of running your house on natural gas.
Yeah, you can run your house on natural gas, then HHO gas supplementing some of the reduced valve decreasing the supply. And this is 7,000 watts. My brother's generator right here, we tried running one machine like we just did with his fancy electronics. It would not run. It's like an automobile. I'm going to show this. We cannot get once the gas runs out of this machine, it shuts off. You can see my videos on the internet. Those were up, I think, yesterday, the day before, 2 days ago. We couldn't keep this thing running. But as you've seen, this doesn't have all that like shit that's our automobiles. Like I said, it probably has a map. I told my brother to call up and see if it has a map sensor, O2 sensor, advanced timing control. Does it have the same old shit that's on our cars on this little tiny generator? And this is only a 3,000 watt generator, so it's 6 horse. And I couldn't even get one of the machines to even help it out.
I should tell you that I've got my recorder going because you always do put on a good show, so you might want to watch your language a little bit.
Okay. So like I said, this thing has all that electronic crap on it, and it won't run that good compared to this. Mm-hmm. As you can see for yourself, no trickery here.
And really quick, you've got a couple of big systems back there. Do you want to tell us what those are behind you?
Oh yeah, this is the EP560. I'm setting this up at a dealership to do multiple tasks over there. That produces 5,600 liters per hour, 93 liters per minute. Right now, we're trying to get it working on American Current. This will set up for 380 power. The manufacturer and I are working on getting this up and running. Once we get one of them going, then we can follow suit on this one and the EP500 that you can see right over here. There's 3 of them back there, 500. Those put out roughly 3,600 liters. This puts out 5,600 liters, and the EP1000 puts out 10,200 liters per hour. That machine right here, these two together, is 1,800 pounds.
And tell us your website.
HHOGasTechnology.com.
Okay. Well, thanks for that demonstration.
All right. So who's doing taking over Gary's show? Any special individual taking over what's going on with Gary's show?
Well, we'll hope he picks up again maybe next month. He's just taking a break.
This is the EP500. We're going to be doing this cooking stove next.
Cooking stove using Brown's gas?
Brown's gas and the hexane. And I'm going to change these all over. These have to have the hexane to produce the gas, and that will run off of the EP500. And if I change the orifice size to the 9,000ths hole, we will not have flashback on any of these. So I have to take one of these to my friend at the machine shop, have him duplicate this, and change all the burner heads on this dual burner so we can run just HHO gas only. Then we can put a heating element above it to heat the pan.
What's the selling point on this?
Is if you can just use HHO gas, and it's a clean burning fuel, and you can use a small tiny flame and not a huge amount of gas coming out. Since HHO produces a lot of heat, it's not how big the flame is, it's how small you can get the flame and how many small flames you can utilize to do the job that one large flame can do, because it's not similar to the natural gas and propane where you have a lot of radiant heat. These pinpoint flames, if they're like a torch, they put a lot of heat in one area. So if you have, say, if this was a torch, this whole head, you would only heat one area. But if I make something that covers the entire surface and they're tiny, you can run less gas than you can run through the big one. So you want to diversify the flame evenly across the surface to heat a surface and not burn a hole through the pan. If you go with a 9/1000 hole, it will not burn a hole through the pan unless you're practically closer than a millimeter from the pan. And then if it's empty, it will start getting red hot. So you want to apply heat over across a big surface instead of one area. One flame here, one flame here. You want to have it everywhere. Similar to my micro torch that you've seen in past videos. And these are EP 500s.
And are those out of Japan? Who makes those?
Those are made in Taiwan. Those are the machines I picked up in Canada that were going to a scrapper. They were going to go through a metal shredder.
Serious?
They called me up and asked me if I wanted to buy them. And I couldn't believe what they were charging me. So I said, yeah, I'm on my way to pick them up.
Wow.
Never been used. Never been used. They were built in 2009.
Huh.
These are made to run with HHO gas and hexane, used for different applications. So it runs a flammable liquid, all computerized inside the whole system. It tells you when you're low on the hexane. It maintains the bubbler system of the hexane. If water gets into the hexane, the water is heavier than the fuel, it will settle to the bottom. The pump will pump it out and get rid of the water and maintain the flammable liquid. And it's all automatic. It automatically fills itself, maintains itself. It's cool. That's what I'm setting up over here. What we're changing this one over is we got rid of the hexane and we're getting rid of the sensors in there that detect water. So we're going to have an automatic bubbler filler, and it will automatically be no touch. It will maintain the bubbler levels, and we'll be doing multiple cars at this building I'm planning on working at. So we're just trying to get this thing up and running. We get it up from 13 amps to 23 amps. It needs to be at 60 amps to put out 93 liters. So he doesn't want to buy a bunch of these EP350s that I have over here that my motor's sitting on. That runs off a 220. He wants one machine piped through the plant that they can use to cut off stuff on the cars, have run off torches, and do many different tasks that they can't do right now. So one machine will be doing more than one thing. And there's the, this right here is for the EP1000. That and that controls that one on the other side. So my goal is to prove the point that electronics is holding up everything. And I got a hold of some people that I'm working with that I got to get a hold of, and they're going to see what they can. It's part of a racing team, so they're going to work with me on technology. It's called Roush Engineering, Roush Racing. You heard of them?
I haven't.
Yeah, they're over here in Livonia, and they're getting into alternative energy on things, but they're not familiar with HHO. And when you talk with people at HHO, they're a little bit afraid of it because they don't have the quality flashback arresters. And I'm selling these right now. I'm going to put them up on eBay, the commercial grade flashback arrestor. This one, I was told from the manufacturer, is guaranteed for 10 years.
That's on that joint right there, right after the joint?
Yep, this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
I get that one, and then my nylon reinforced ones I make. I had the manufacturer come over that makes this. I had her in my garage, and I lit my hose, and I said, watch, I'm going to put my flashback arresters in front of yours, and I just stood there and waited for my torch to die down in pressure. And as soon as it made that loud snap, she jumped. She wasn't used to HHO popping in the hose. So she was impressed with the demonstration. I showed her on a small engine on my EP350. That EP350 will run that HHO gas through the small motor, just HHO. And that puts out 900 liters per hour. The 350. That's the carbon cleaning machine that I can take over to any shop and say, if you want to do carbon cleaning, plug it into the 220 plug, hook the hose up, and you're ready to make some money. These are designed just for carbon cleaning. but I run it on this motor, just HHO. I ran it for, we were running this one for about, maybe about, was it 1,800 RPMs. But when I ran the gasoline on this motor right here, we were running at 5,000 RPMs. I had to turn it down because we were about ready to blow the rod. And that's in one of my videos. It's already on the internet. We just did that 2 days ago. My brother was here and he was like, wow. That little bit of gas in there cruising across surface. I said, oh yeah, it prevents the implosion. Because HHO explodes and then implodes, you add a little bit of fossil fuel in it, it gives it that little bit of kick. Unless you're running compressed HHO with ambient air to compress it into the cylinders, then you don't need the fossil fuel. That's just the nature of HHO.
Now, I thought it wasn't a good idea to compress HHO.
No, you compress the air, and it goes in with compressed air and HHO together. It's still the engine, because when that piston is going at bottom dead center, and it's down here, and it's going to begin to start up, it's in a negative pressure because the piston is moving so fast. Air compressor pump that you use for camping, you pump it up down so fast you can't go any faster because the valves only allow so much air to pass through the valves compared to the diameter of the piston. So you're in a negative pressure at bottom dead center. So the piston starts up in a negative pressure, starts compressing, I don't know how far up, and then finishes compression all the way up. But when you add compressed air to the single line, like I've done before, I added compressed air and HHO and completely closed this completely off, and it ran off one line. Nothing coming in from this line at all. This was completely shut off. And ran it with 20 pounds of compressed air and HHO, no gasoline. So people have to remember, you gotta add some compression to compensate for the implosion, because there is an implosion. And I'm running stock engines; they're not retarded or advanced at all. Stock from the factory. This one's stock, and so is this one. If we can run stock, then it eliminates all the people from tampering around, taking flywheels off, and putting these offset cotter pins in there and playing around. You gotta be able to plug and play as is. And right here was one of my homemade orifices I was working on for mixed gas delivery. What? Just the configuration of it did not allow that valve to open up for the natural gas. So I'm going to have to change some configurations on this wooden one so I can run the wooden one compared to the one I purchased. That's designed to run natural gas.
Well, thank you for the quick rundown. Being called to dinner here, so appreciate this little demonstration, and I'll post this up to YouTube coming from me. Get a little different audience than what you're used to.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are messing around, but you got to remember, you let people know that if they're going to mess around with flammable liquids with their HHO, you got to be careful, because there is no implosion. If it gets to the machine with no pressure, it will blow these caps right off. It will disintegrate these plastic caps. I've had it happen. That's without any pressure. The reblow valve is not fast enough to transfer the energy from inside these two cylinders. It will disintegrate these caps. But if you have HHO, it will blow the plastic filament across the surface, and it will stay together. But when you add the mixed gas, different story. So you got to have quality flashback arresters play like this. And you see I'm not running my large green one, the chemicals in it. So my nylon ones can handle it, because it's not polycarbonate. So I'm running my nylon ones and the commercial grade. And that's why I can work around this, feel confident without any fears.
What do you think about bubblers?
Oh, you can go through a bubbler, but I don't know how it will respond with a natural gas in the fumes, if it's going to clean it up or allow it to make it over to the engine. You want it to get to the engine. I don't know if it's going to clean the gasoline, the hexane right in the water. But then if it's bubbling in the water, it should float to the surface and then be taken off the surface. But if you get any of the gasoline with the additives, then it's going to gunk up your water.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, eventually when I run this one on the left and it stops producing the gasoline fumes with the octane, then I'm going to have to dump out the leftovers that's left in the bottom of the container, because it will not vaporize. It's going to be an oily base once I get it down. The hexane will go all the way down, similar to quick start, and there'll be nothing left in the container. Trying to get over this cold. My nose is still plugged up, so excuse me from kind of mumbling sometimes. Kind of hard to talk when you're plugged. So I'm impressed just with the demonstration I tried out today, and I wanted to share it with you so you can share with everybody else that there's a possibility of everybody reducing our gas that we use. And you could do the same thing if you can fine-tune the jets on the carburetor and add the HHO gas through the throttle body in the front. Then you can turn down your actual gasoline consumption, run the gasoline in this tank. But I find out the natural gas goes in under vapor form. You're not going to have all the carbon deposits, and the HHO speeds up the process of the burn. Now, propane is a hotter burning fuel. So I would be able to turn that valve a lot more down if I hooked up a propane tank in front of this low pressure valve. So I would have a high pressure, low pressure, and then the lines would come over and mix and take it into the engine, and then I turn it on. So I could be able to turn it down more because propane has more of a kick than natural gas. But natural gas is fine from here. I don't have to worry about all the fumes coming off it.
Very good. Well, thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks for your time. Share it with everybody. Open source for all.
Great. You take care.
Good evening. All right. Bye now.
Bye.
I get my hot glue gun. I mean, not hot glue gun. My hot gun. It pulls 1,500 watts by itself, and I've done that.
Okay.
So what I'll do, I'll start it up. Try to get over a code. I go from one code to another code. Hang on. Open the garage door a little bit for ventilation. And let me open this one back here. Hang on. Looks like it's starting to rain out there. All right, because I know a few times with my brother's small generator, we kind of got it a little bit too rich and it slowed down. So it runs good lean out with the HHO. Then I've got my 240 cable, one the vacuum plugs in, one the other machine plugs in. Each machine uses 1,800 watts each machine. And then I plug in a...
and that's coming from the generator.
Everything is being running from the generator.
Okay.
And I turn on the vacuum to pull load, so you got 12 amps right here. That pulls the load. That pulls these two pull load, and then machines. One of them, this one on the left, has HHO gasoline. And the second side it has gasoline. This one on the second side has hexane. And that goes to the bubblers. And everything is plugged in.
So the gasoline is as a fuel source or in the bubbler?
It's in the bubbler. Goes to the bubbler, and it does not bubble. It goes only across the surface. But all these valves are shut off. So it just crosses the surface of the container inside. There's no bubbling going on.
So it's just picking up the vapor across the top of it.
Correct. As you can see, it's turned on. And you can see underneath, this is my hose that goes to the carburetor. So I'm running it through the carburetor. There's nothing in that carburetor at all. It's been empty for a couple of years. So watch, I turn it, and it will not start up because you can see the switch is on.
Hello, Peter.
Yeah, this is what I've been talking about for a while. I finally got down to it and said, I'm going to do this. So let me show you real quickly the setup.
Okay, let's see it.
Everything is plugged in to the machine. I don't have nothing plugged in the wall. Natural gas comes into that valve down here.
Mm-hmm.
Low pressure valve. And there's me. Then I reduce the valve, make the generator start for gas, and then I fire up the HHO